motion that we offer the job to Bob.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mark and second by Naniswedi. And for this, we will do a roll call vote.
Mr. Weddy,
Yes.
Mrs. Claudia,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Rothermouth,
Yes.
Kirschner,
Yes.
Mrs. Krantz, Mr. Heisey, Mr. Tim,
Yes.
Mr. Cap,
Yes.
Mr. Eckstein.
Yes.
Ayes, one absent.
So I would like to offer you a position. If you want to turn us down, please wait till tomorrow.
No, it's very rude to leave someone hanging for a proposal. So yes, I accept. So I look forward to coming here to work for Waushara County, and I look forward to living here in Waushara County, specifically the city of Watoma. So thank you, and I appreciate your consideration. And I won't say anything more because I know you have a heavy schedule tonight.
Great, thanks, Bob.
All right, next we are going to go to the amended 2017-2018 WTTA tentative agreements.
All right, so you have this in front of you in paper. I put that in front of you each place. So we had settled this. We thought we had a good, solid agreement, very positive about it. We passed this in December, we started implementing the changes after the first of the year, and we could not get it to work on the NovaTime system. We absolutely cannot get it to work. So we went back to the union, and it was the 171 hours. That problems that the first 3 hours were at straight time, and then anything over that was at time and a half. We can't get the system to work. So we went back to the union, and so instead of the 3 on, 3 off schedule, they'll go with a 3-2, 2-3, 2-2, which gives them 84 hours every pay period, which is what the original intent was, to pay them 168 in a 28-day. So the 84 in a 2-week pay period works out perfectly. And they agreed to that, but they asked us for a couple concessions. So they asked us that instead of being at the 171 hours and then time and a half kicks in, that it goes to the 168. So it goes back to the original language we had before the 2017-2018 changes, in that it's out of schedule. And again, I can't get that 3-hour thing to work. So we're doing everything manually, adjustments on payroll, and when you start manually adjusting payrolls, you're asking for trouble. So so that was the one thing which I think, to me that's just a no-brainer. And then the other thing, when they went to the 12-hour shifts, that gives them, right now they're at a 40-hour work week, so they asked that their 40-hour work week be considered at 42, which is what it really is in reality now, that they're 84 hours in a 2-week pay period. So they're just asking that their vacation schedule be based on 42 as opposed to 40 hours. And we did that with corrections quite a few years ago when they went to the 12-hour shift. So they're not asking for anything unusual here. But I tried to make it work under the other system, and we could not get it to work. So this is a way to fix that. And the union was really very gracious about stepping up and changing their schedule, because they never wanted to go to the 3-2, 2-3, 2-2, even though we had proposed that in the past. But they realized the problem, and they worked with us. So I hope that you guys will go along with this.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by King, second by Cap. And Ruth tells me we have to have a roll call vote on this.
Mrs. Claudia,
Aye.
Mr. King,
Aye.
Mr. Rothermouth,
Aye.
Mr. Kirschner,
Aye.
Mrs. Krantz, Mr. Heisey, Mr. Tim,
Aye.
Mr. Cap,
Aye.
Mr. Eckstein,
Aye.
Mr. Weddy.
Aye.
asked for that is because, the members of my town board knew about the, meeting to have the townships take over the ambulance service before I knew about it. So I go to my town board meeting and they're asking me about it. I know nothing about it, so I had to read the letter that they had, my clerk and my chairman had. I had to read that letter and I kinda went in there dumb, you know? And so that's the reason I'd like to have some input ahead of time so that I know what to talk about when I go back to my town board.
And I'm good to say that our committee was responsible for that because the discussion was that, you know, do we wanna approach the townships with this? And the feeling on that was, we wanna make sure the townships were interested before we went any further with it. So I guess that was our committee's fault for doing that, and, you know, so, I'll take blame, and I understand what you're saying.
Take half of it with you.
Thank you. I'll give it to you.
You know, Bob's not here tonight. You could have said it was all Bob.
We should, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Larry,
I'd just like to say I had a similar experience to what Russ had.
turning the regionalization.
Well,
and
other items
that-
too.
Okay, all right. Well, you know, it's up to the,
But a lot of things happen before the county board meeting too, so
and the other
there
thing.
should be a way to,
That's right. Well, there is, because if the minutes are put on the tablets, you'll have the minutes of the meetings.
I haven't
All
seen
there.
any on yet.
Agendas. Well, that's because we haven't completely gone to the tablets. You know, Barry's gonna give us another training, you know, if that's what we decide to do, we can have the minutes of the meetings, of all the meetings, you know, and then you just delete them when you're done with them.
How do you delete it?
Well, that'll be part of your training.
Yes,
Now we're
very
talking
good.
about.
Can you use small enough words for people like me?
I think, you know, when the minutes are coming onto these tablets, that should be sufficient, and anyone interested could read the minutes. What I fear about going back to those reports is, I do remember, people, who were not present at the time read the entire minutes to us, which was totally boring, instead of having a short, presentation of what their meetings were about.
I think if we went back to that, we should have a time limit. 'Cause I took my longest naps during some of them.
I know, I sat next to you. I don't think it will hurt if we hit the highlights, you know, and I'm with you, I don't think we wanna have the minutes read in their entirety, but I do think, you know, it has some merit. We could try it for a few months, and, you know, and then if, say, Dennis were to give a report and it was too long, then I would expect the rest of you to make sure it didn't happen again. You know, you take care of Dennis, and
I guess the only concern I have is that, are you going to ask the department heads to write your synopsis up? So that just puts more work on them. So, you know, that would be my only concern.
Why don't we just wait and see when Barry gives the lessons and everything, and they start putting these minutes onto the tablet? So like Russ and Larry, I understand what happened there because it has happened to me years ago, but, you know, try it, you know, maybe with just the minutes, and if it doesn't work, then let's, you know, maybe go to this committee thing. Right now, we're all still stumbling through the, tablets and stuff like that. I'm having fun working with Jerry's and mine both here, so.
at least Jerry got his turn on, right?
Oh, he's rocking and rolling here, trust me.
I agree with them too. I think we could wait and see how this turns out, getting the minutes on our tablets.
Okay, so, we have had our discussion, and now we will, have a motion.
I would make a motion to, set this aside until we've had more time to, use our tablets and compare, or to analyze the way that turns out, being able to read the minutes rather than listening to short reports.
All right, Dennis has made a motion, do we have a second? Second by Eckstein. Okay, all in favor?
a couple
Give
months.
it
I mean,
few
months.
how does Larry and Russell
Said
feel?
to make this decision after she was.
No, I think that could be something Bob does in June when he comes, right? You guys can talk to him about that. So maybe June? Does that give it enough time?
All right, next we are sending emails to board tablets, and Ruth is gonna.
So I know you haven't reviewed your agendas and your minutes and your documents yet, and we're still working on that. Right now, your tablet is not configured to give an email, it's configured to give just these documents. And maybe it's because I was not paying attention when we talked about getting tablets, but I thought that one of the purposes for them would be that you would also then all have a county email address, and all county business would then be emailed to you through that email address and not through your home personal emails. And one of the advantages to that is that every time that I email you at home, that's a public record. What I send you is kept on our server, and what you send me back is kept. But if you send something to a constituent that's county business, or to each other that's county business, we're not storing it. And right now, I haven't gotten any records requests for emails for either employees or for supervisors, but it is happening in areas around us. And it's bound to happen. And one of my concerns is I don't want to come to your house and examine your computer to get those emails. So I would, and you don't need to make this decision tonight, because I know I'm throwing a lot at you tonight, but I would really like you to consider having us add email to this as well. We would give you an email address. Barry says it's simple enough to do it. And then, it might also solve some of this document stuff that, like, we can email you like we're normally emailing. It's not just that, right now, if I email you to put something onto the tablet, I have to put it into a document form and then submit it as a document, and, that might be some of the issues, I'm not sure. But I would like you to consider that, and it's more for my ease of mind, not tracking you, but have it if I, I'm not gonna look at your emails, I don't look at every county employee's emails, we randomly check emails to make sure nobody's using it for, malicious purposes. But it would just be if we had a request, everything is like then on our server and not on all of your personal stuff. And I tell all my employees that too, and anybody in we could tell you if they're using their personal cell phones to get their county emails, if I get a request, I'm gonna ask them to turn over their phone. I'm not gonna look at it, and they know that. So, we've had this discussion with our employees, so I thought I need to have this discussion with you too. And again, we don't need to make a decision tonight, I want you to think about it. But that's what I'm requesting, is we take that next step.
Would it be proper to table that till next meeting?
Yes.
That's what I would move to do.
Let's make it clear, though, that just because you have the emails that you have on here will be back and forth mostly to the county or to other board members. So your personal information, this will not put your personal information out there. It will remain between your tablet and the county.
All it is county business.
Yes.
County business. Don't use it to make walking forums, because then we'll have another conversation. I don't want y'all emailing each other saying vote this way on this topic, one after another, we'll have a different conversation. But, we save the emails that you send us, it's on our server, but I can't guarantee, and, Mark said, well, I don't use my email. Well, I can't guarantee that all of you are going to be here from now until the time that I get a public records request, and this is the way business does, and I'm trying to protect the county and keep everything in one spot.
All right, Dennis made a motion to table.
And now,
And that's seconded. Do you have any questions, any more questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Wait, I'm sorry, Larry has one.
Are we obligated to keep emails we receive from constituents?
depends on if it's county business, it could be considered a county, it could be considered a public record. It's
approve resolution number 3-3-17, resolution supporting efforts to close commercial property assessment loopholes.
I'll second.
Second by Weddy. Do you need an explanation on this? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Resolution number 4-3-17, authorization to contract with the Department of Revenue for the collection of debt.
Who we said?
Motion by Cap. Second by Bernadette. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance number 608, an ordinance amending ordinance number 519, the Waushara County 20-year comprehensive plan.
Motion by Bernadette, second by Mark Kirschner. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, proclamations designating April 2017 Child Abuse Prevention Month.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Wendy, second by Cap. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, designating the week of April 3rd through the 7th, 2017, Work Zone Safety Awareness Week. Motion by Eckstein,
I'll second.
second by Weddy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, a proclamation designating April 9th through the 15th, 2017, Public Safety Telecommunications Week. Motion by Cap. Second by Bernadette. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And just so you know, speaking of telecommunications week, Jeff, you expect to have our new dispatch center up and running by the 5th of April. So, yeah, and when it's done, Jeff said if you want to come out and see it, you're more than welcome. Okay, reports and presentations, the Clerk of Circuit Court's Office Annual Report. Missy.
I'll make this short and sweet. I have, I think, 7 slides. So the circuit court consists of Judge Dutcher, myself, Rebecca Grams, who is the Register and Probate, Tara Galbranson, who is our court reporter, and then there are 5 deputies, Sherry Newman, Katrina Rasmussen, Susan Barth, Tracy Jurian, and Wendy Meyer. So what I did is I just compared the 2014, 15, and 16 filings. So as you can see, from 14, 15, and 16, our foreclosure rate has gone down. Our injunction rate has gone up. Our money judgments have gone down. And other civil filings would be like personal injury, money judgments, those types of matters. Zoning is included in the other civil filings. Next is family and paternity. There, in the family and paternity categories, we have divorce, legal separation, non-support paternities, and then other. Other would be grandparent visitation. Basically, that's what grandparent visitation falls under. Our divorce rate has kind of stayed steady over the last 3 years. Non-supports have gone down, which means that more people are paying support, so the county or child support doesn't have to file cases against people to make them pay their child support. And our paternity rate has gone down. Or our paternity filings have gone down. Then civil small claims and tax warrants. These are, small claims are anything from a money judgment under $10,000, evictions, replevins of people wanting property back or things of that nature. When we receive a judgment, when a person receives a judgment of eviction or replevin, they're able to file what's called a writ of restitution or a writ of eviction with our office, and that's something that they take to the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff's Department helps assist landlords and landlords evicting their tenants from their properties. And we've heard very good things about how fast the sheriff's department is working with landlords to help them repossess their property and take it back so that they can clean it up and rent it out to someone new and create new income for themselves. The tax warrants, unemployment comp, workers' comp, and other liens. Under other liens are public assistance liens, so people that have claimed public assistance and get more payments than they should. When the Department of Revenue or the Department of Workforce Development realizes that they've paid someone more money than they should have gotten and the person hasn't paid them back, they'll place another lien on them. Tax warrants are people who are not paying their state taxes for, when people get paid, those taxes are supposed to be taken out of their checks. When they're not sent into the state, those are state taxes. If they're not paying their unemployment compensation or workers' compensation, the Department of Revenue and the Department of Workforce Development actually files a lien in our office against those entities. In 14, 15, and 16, we have seen a huge increase in traffic citations. An actual number in 2014, between the Sheriff's Department, State Patrol, and at that time we had the Village of Hancock and the Village of Red Granite, we had 2,306 citations filed, traffic citations filed in our office. In 2015, we lost the Village of Red Granite and Hancock to the City of Wautoma Municipal Court. However, State Patrol, the Sheriff's Department, and the Village of Plainfield and Coloma filed 3,257 traffic tickets with my office, and in 2016 we had 3,667 tickets. One thing, if you are ever taking a complaint from your citizens, one of the things that we see in our office, while the municipal court is great because their fees are lower and they don't have mandatory costs like the circuit court does, like the court costs and things of that nature. One of the biggest complaints that we get is that in City Hall, and I understand it's for protection purposes for the police department records, but they only have one secretary at City Hall. When she is on vacation, no one else at City Hall can help her. So we have people coming to our counter wanting to pay a city ticket because their license is suspended or they're going to intercept their taxes, and we unfortunately are not able to help them. We direct them to City Hall and they are turned away because the secretary at the police department is not in the office and no one else at City Hall has access to those records. And last but not least, we have our criminal matters. And I know that the misdemeanors looks completely out of whack compared to the felonies, but something that I want to point out, Washera County does not delineate between criminal misdemeanors and criminal traffic cases. In Washera County, we consider them misdemeanors altogether, so you can have a misdemeanor that technically should be a CT case, but in our county, we still number them as a CM for a criminal misdemeanor. So in 2014, we had 209 felonies, 538 misdemeanors, and 66 juveniles who were charged with what would be considered a crime. In 2015, we had 204 felonies, 500 misdemeanors, and 34 juvenile cases. Last year alone, we had 269 felonies, 541 misdemeanors, and 51 juvenile cases. In felonies, we see a lot of drug, delivery, manufacturing, sexual assaults, drunk driving, 4th, 5th, and 6th offenses. Misdemeanors, it's more disorderly conduct, criminal damage to property, OWI 1st or 2nd and 3rd. Trying to think, operating without a valid license 2 times within 3 years or 3 times within 3 years. Our office doesn't handle the juvenile cases. Becky, who is our registrar and probate, deals with those, so I'm not really sure what those types of juvenile cases all are, but they do involve criminal activity by individuals under the age of 17 years of age. So then next is Becky, who is our register in probate, and in her office she does probates, wills, guardianships, which would be regular guardianships, and then people in need of protective placement. CHIPS cases are the children in need of protective placement or protective services. Ruth helps our office with those, as does Stephanie in her office. We have human services, social workers, and things of that nature. Crisis is involved a lot of times with our office, or with Becky's office, with the guardianships and the protective placement. Human services as well, doing annual reports for the annual reviews. We do have some TPRs, or termination of parental rights. And then the happiest thing that happens in the circuit court, last but not least, are adoptions. And the adoption number has gone up. I don't know that I printed that out. I didn't. So this year, we implemented e-filing mandatorily for civil small claims, paternity, and family. We've worked with Ruth and Kim through the Child Support Agency, and that has worked really well. We did voluntary e-filing with the District Attorney's Office starting on February 1st. March 1st, all cases in our office, the civil small claims, family, paternity, criminal, misdemeanor, traffic, all are electronic and e-filing, so that everything between the District Attorney's Office and my office, the City Attorney and my office, is all electronic. They submit it to us, we forward it to judge if he needs a signature, he types in a number on his computer, it comes back to us, we accept it, and it goes off. So we're finding some glitches, but everyone has been able to keep really good communication to make sure that this works. Because of the passing of the resolution to contract with the Department of Revenue, we will be looking at working harder to collect outstanding debt that is owed to the county. And one of those things is in the collection of restitution for victims of criminal cases and things of that nature. And then because of the e-filing initiative that we have, we are working on scanning of records for retention purposes. So any questions? Thank you.
Right next we
Yeah,
have
there's another one coming.
Land Conservation and Zoning Department.
And Terry, for some reason it's not there.
I do have to come back in April. Postpone it.
All right, Barry, I might need your help.
Well, I'll just start, and you can look at the pictures later.
Okay.
2016 was another pretty busy year. We're still talking about shoreline zoning. There was a couple of cleanup bills, and we've done some code amendments. Those will be coming to you next month. The county board, planning and zoning, passed those last week. Probably still have some more work to do on them next winter, but I think there's going to be more legislation too, so we're never done with that. We actually made over 1,000 field visits last year to various properties around the county. Those included 210 sanitary permit inspections, 55 on-site soil verifications, 447 were investigations for non-code compliance issues. We do 90 annual travel trailer inspections, and 203 just landowner requested information visits, and we assigned 44 new address numbers. We issued 422 land use permits for structures in the towns that are under county zoning. These included 54 new homes, 99 additions to homes, and 269 accessory structures. We are still building lots of garages. These totals are similar to 2015, except in some of the categories they do kind of jump around. Uniform dwelling code is still administered through our office. And you're going to notice that these numbers are a little bit different. They issued permits for 63 new homes. It doesn't quite match up with ours, but what they consider to be a new home is a little bit different than what we do. So we never quite match on our numbers. There were 27 commercial structures and 33 additions to homes, 161 electrical installations or upgrades, and 78 miscellaneous permits. Fees collected just through that program were just over $140,000. From the land conservation side with the construction, they did 93 visits for erosion control, and 14 of those ended up with individualized plans for the homeowners to make sure that they had erosion control plans. Sanitary permits. We were up in sanitary permits last year. We issued 213 sanitary permits. That was for 67 new systems and 146 replacement systems. Mandatory septic maintenance notices were sent to just over 3,100 Waushara County landowners. Out of those, we had 48 citations. I consider that to be an overall compliance rate of about 99%. We did get Wisconsin Fund money for one person last year at just under $3,000 to replace their system. Kyle was busy. He did 345 code noncompliance inquiries. 345 code noncompliance inquiries were made to our office. 347 of those reports were investigated and brought into compliance. We still have 145 out there that are non-compliant pending. These range from junk cars to travel trailers to failed septics, shoreline disturbances, anything like that. If you ever have a question about some activity that's going on a project, give us a call and we'll check it out and make sure that it's okay. I'm on like number 7. Non-metallic mining is still a program that we administer. We still have about 220 unreclaimed or active acres out there. 8 acres were reclaimed in 2016 and 35 acres are pending certification as reclaimed in this year. One of the things is you got to make sure that it's actually growing something once they reclaim it, so you kind of delay that certification for a while. And this is a site that was obviously not reclaimed on one side, and this is what it looked like after it was reclaimed. Land conservation technical staff provides assistance for erosion control, as I had mentioned before. Stormwater is a new thing that they're providing much more assistance with, and revegetation of shorelines. There were 92 landowners that were helped with projects like these. The Lakes Management Project wrapped up in December of 2016. That yielded a total of 32 lake management plans. They've been approved by all the lake districts or associations and have been delivered to DNR for the final approval. We're still waiting for them to get that done. That was a 3-year project. The Soil Water Resource Management Program, we'll talk about SWRM grants, and that got $50,000 from the state into the county for hard practices. These are water runoff systems, manure storage facilities, wetland restorations, and shoreline erosion control or erosion stabilization projects. An additional $20,000 was brought in for nutrient management, just granted from DATCAP. We also got almost $6,000 from Buffalo County. They weren't going to use it, so we did. So that covered 925 acres last year for nutrient management, and to date, a total of 37,805 acres in Waushara County are covered by nutrient management plans, and that's about 25% of the total cropland in the county. There's the water quality funds that the county supplies, and one of the projects that we were able to fund with that last year was this. There had been a big slough of the riverbank in the Pine River, just downstream from the Pine River Dam. The funny thing is we had gotten calls early in the spring about a lot of sediment in the river. Where's it coming from? This is a trout stream. There's something going on, and we kept looking and going, but there's no farmland there, so we knew it wasn't a farming issue. We didn't know what it was until this landowner called us and said, you know, I've had this big problem, and then the light goes off. That's where all that sediment came from. So there was a design that they worked with engineers from DATCAP to get that shored back up. There's obviously rock riprap there. They had to deal with some floodplain issues, some county zoning issues, get a permit from DNR, and then they got that riprap in and that shoreline stabilized with vegetation. So that was very good use of the county money, I think. Conservation Field Days, always a popular program. We cater to, or we target that at the 5th graders throughout the county. Again, we're always looking for volunteers. If you want to come out and see what we do at Camp Lucerne for the day, let us know. You can lead a group around to the stations. There isn't any more responsibility than that, but we'd love to have you if you want to do that. This year we'll do it May 4th and 5th. Wildlife damage is always kind of an interesting program that we're involved with. Mostly it's paid out for deer damage claims for crop losses, and there was over 21,000 paid to 7 qualified applicants last year. The other animals that it would cover is turkey, bear, and geese. We do get a small stipend for administering the program. There was some money carried over for the big fence that you see on the upper right. Those are used when you have Christmas tree operations. Even though the fencing is really expensive, the trees are more expensive if they're being eaten by deer. So that's one other thing that you think about. It's not just corn, it's our Christmas tree population. And next we have a picture of our staff. There's 10 of us now. I think it's really working out well. Got some new people, got some of us old people there still hanging out. But they're a good team. I think we're providing a pretty good level of service to our landowners throughout the county, and we hope to continue to do that. And finally, again, if you ever have any questions about our programs, what's going on, what might be happening on a property, please feel free to stop in or give our office a call. I can discuss it with you, anyone else too. So that's it. Are there any questions?
I have a question about the wildlife damage. Is there any possibility, have you heard any rumblings about the damage that the cranes are doing in the area?
We had a claim quite a few years ago, and I want to say it was potatoes. They had just planted potatoes, and the cranes went out and pecked each potato. I mean, they just go down the line. And so there was some claim made and some payment made, but generally on other crops, not so much.
The last few years, the cranes are
Golf course?
Golf course.
I can ask Barry if that's something that they can, I mean, I've seen it too.
But it's very interesting how they roll the sod right back and then get the grubs, I guess, is what they're looking for. But
Yeah, I don't know if it qualifies as a typical agricultural crop damage. I'm guessing it's not.
So there's not, you haven't heard any rumblings from anyone else that might be something?
No, I think they need a dog.
What?
I think they need a dog. We were actually at a golf course in Appleton, and that manager had like a cattle dog on his car, or his cart, and just they went around several times a day, and if there was geese, cranes, anything, the dog got off and chased him away, and then he hopped back on the cart. It was really pretty slick. So
What? Oh, okay. Thank you, Terry. Does anyone else have any questions for Terry?
thank you.
Okay, Scott has moved his annual report, his Parks and Solid Waste report, to next month. And so we will go on to our tablet training for board supervisors.
was just gonna say.
Well, I thought it would be nice to include it, but they said no.
Well, be good.
It's just, so, okay, thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry, Everett?
What do you wanna know? What's the cost between,
Well, that depends, we'll be looking at contractors, so it's in the range, what was the range, do you remember?
what was it?
33,000, I think the 56, about, somewhere between 33,000.
Come from the top down.
And, as far as the memorial is concerned, we're hoping to get donations from people that move to the teachers' college. For, like Dennis, I'm sure he's.
Well, I will.
And Russ was gonna check with the lady that is in charge of all of that and see what we can come up with.
Russ, is that Darlene Temple? I mean, Darlene,
Right, no, it all has to be carried away, it can't be put in the basement of that, everything has to.
thought maybe Darlene Temple would be involved.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Barry.
All right. So we're gonna we'll go through the training document here. We have it up on the screen too, so you guys can see it as well. We'll go through this first, and then we'll show you a couple other things, and then we'll take questions. So first thing it points out is to how to turn it on. A lot of times you want to just push the button once, just let it go. It doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to kind of hold it down. A lot of times you just hold it until you see it flash on. With Russell's, that was what was going on with his. I just had to hold it until it turned on. So that's the first thing we want to do. Everybody's already got it turned on, so we don't have to do that. We're not going to turn them off to turn them back on. So any questions or anything with that? Touch the button at the
Button up the upper right-hand corner.
Lower left, lower
Right.
right.
There you go, you got it.
I got it.
Move it up. You put your finger on it, move up.
I don't like that guy.
There you go.
All right, so if you want to move the document down a little bit, we'll go to the next section there. So to unlock the tablet, you just have to swipe up or sideways, whichever way you got it turned. Like I have this one turned up this way, so we go up. If it's sideways, similar the same way. If you keep scrolling down, shows a picture of that. Nice little sheet here, kind of tells pretty much how to run it, how to use it. So if you've never charged it, it's probably a good idea to plug it in once in a while just to keep it charged up. They don't use a lot of battery life, so they're not going to die real fast. But the section there shows you how to charge it. So the main thing that we want to talk about is the connection to internet somewhere, right? So in order for the tablet to get the documents and or email, if we go that route, it has to be connected to some wireless internet, either at your house. You can go to a library, like a public library, something like that. You can go out to a coffee shop somewhere that's got some public internet. So in order to get information, it has to connect. So if you look, it tells you how to swipe down from the top. So if you take your finger at the top of your device and just swipe down, it'll give you like a whole list of things there. And it'll look like the picture. So at the top left, you'll see a little Did it not come down for you? Yeah, just like at the very top, just slide down.
We've got the county board agenda on, so I don't know how to get back to whatever.
Earl's not here. Right, Everett?
There's a seat right next to him that's open. Right next to him that's open. Have to have Carol come sit by him.
on your tablet?
Yep.
Okay. So over at the left, you'll see the thing that looks kind of like a signal beacon going out or whatever. It's got a red circle on the picture there. Do you guys see that? If you tap that, it's going to bring up a whole list of stuff. And it'll look similar to that picture there.
This one?
Everybody got that? All right, so while you're here at the county, for the most part, you're going to connect to that Waushara Public that it's connected to now. That'll work in most areas. It's not going to work in every area of the building. It just doesn't go that far. But it will work most everywhere. What you're going to run into, though, is when you get away from the building and you're at your house or somewhere else, it's not just going to connect. You have to tell it to connect. So what you do is exactly what we did here. So it brings up the list, right? If I'm out, say I'm out in Coloma by the library. If I was to pull up the tablet there in Coloma at the library, it's going to come up with 2 or 3 different available connections. You're going to want to look at the library one because that one's going to be not normally password protected. Or if it is, then you can go in the library and get the password. Once you make the initial connection, then you won't have to put the password back in anymore. If you're at your house and you want to connect, it's the same way. You only have to enter the password once, unless it's a public one like it is here and it doesn't have a password. The tablet will remember your connection, so everywhere you connect, it's going to remember it, and it'll just connect automatically, unless you tell it not to at some point. Any questions about that? Does she not have it up?
Waushara Public.
The Waushara Public is public access that I set up. It goes through our network. But it doesn't actually hit our network. It's separate from our internal network. And it was set up just to give public access to the courtroom and other places.
Yep.
Any questions about that at all? How to connect? Everyone understands that you have to get a connection in order to get the documents and or email, whatever is sent. Okay. So new documents will just come in. So at the bottom of that screen, there's a little circle there. If you hit that little circle, it'll take you back to the home screen.
Bold Spain, but
So when new documents come in, they're just going to show up right on the front home screen there. And if you want to go look at your other documents, there down the home screen there's a little icon that says Docs. And if you click on that, it'll give you a list of all the docs or the documents that have come in. Does everybody see that? Yep. Yep. It's about halfway down. It's like the 3rd row down on most.
January.
He's only got 4 documents?
Yeah.
Is he connected?
I thought so.
I did, just to see what happened.
But it's only got 4 showing.
Oh, he's in airplane mode.
Well, it might only show 4. Oh, he's in airplane mode?
Yeah,
Oh.
How did I get there?
I don't know, but we're not on an airplane, so you don't want to do that.
Shouldn't come in here.
So if you click on the docs icon, is there more documents listed? Yeah, there should be a bunch. I'll show you that in a minute.
Every one of them. I want them all out of there.
So one of the things, while everybody else is getting there, at the top of the documents section, over to the right-hand side, just under local storage, there's a all and there's a downloaded. Do you guys see that? If you click on just the downloaded, it'll show just what's on your tablet. If you're on all, then it shows everything, which is why a lot of times you'll see like duplicate things, and you'll have multiples of the same. So if you click on that downloaded, it'll be just what's on your device. So that's one way to keep them separate. So once you get to a document that say you don't want anymore, right? If you see the 3 little dots next to it, do you see that? So if you click on that, there's a little trash can there. And if you hit that, it'll go away. Correct.
Yeah.
There's no way to mass do it.
Only have to hit that.
There is no mass way.
Barry, you only need to hit that to uncheck it, that's it?
Yeah, just hit the little trash can, and it'll go away.
Yeah, you hit the 3 buttons and the trash can shows up, yeah.
Yep, and then, yeah.
Yep, no problem.
And then now, on that same note, and maybe this is something we have to talk about, if there's documents that need to be retained, on the Amazon site, there's a way to back those up. Is that something that we're...
No, I'm not worried about agendas and minutes because they're
Okay.
retained in the other offices.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because if they start deleting stuff off, if we got to keep them or whatever, so.
No, because agendas and minutes are kept in various places for
Okay.
records. We're good.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with leaving them on the tablet. They've got a lot of memory, so it's going to take a long time to fill them up. So, unless you just don't want to look at them, there's no reason to get rid of it. But that's how to get rid of it if you want to. So if you just kind of tap the document itself, the little arrow should show up at the bottom. There should be like a little arrow in a circle. Yep, you see it at the bottom there. And then if you hit either if the circle, that'll take you back to the home screen, or the back arrow will take you back to the screen before that. And that works in any document, anything you're in, that's how to get out of it. The little circle will always take you back to the home screen. Any questions so far? Everybody's deleting stuff now.
You bet. I'm going to clean this baby up.
I'll have to download.
Do that at home.
I know
I
enough
don't want
about
to
this
delete them,
now
I just
that
want
we're
to download
dangerous.
them.
What are you into, Jerry?
Jerry's got it talking to him.
What do you got there, Jerry?
How did you get Siri?
It's Alexa. We're on.
Thought you came by yourself.
All right. Any questions at all?
I don't.
Anything you don't understand that you want to know more about? It's totally okay. There's no dumb questions or anything. Just ask.
I think that we have a question back here about.
Jerry. Jerry.
She apparently wants to talk to me.
Yeah.
Did you say? Do I need to come look at that?
I think that it's downloading. We were trying to download
Oh.
a document, but I think that
It's probably catching up at this point,
Okay.
because it takes them a minute to come through. Yes.
Some of mine, let's see, I've got Melanie Steak, Shara, but anyway, it's 62%. And then down there is Melanie Steak, 100%. What's that all about?
Are you on the all or are you on the downloaded?
On download, I think.
Usually if it's the percentage, it's either the percentage that you've looked at the document, so maybe you looked at it, but you didn't get all the way through the end of it, or it's still downloading part of it. But my guess is it's you just haven't looked at all of it, because some of those are really big.
Better not be tonight's county board packet, Everett. That better be 100%. No, I'm just, I'm just teasing you.
How do you open it up? I can't, if I hit them, nothing's happening.
If you tap on the document, it doesn't open. Let me come back and take a look.
I don't know that they're downloaded though, Barry, is part of the problem. He was on airplane mode, but we're done.
I'll tell you that.
Okay, so yeah, anything as it's coming down here, and then if you're on the downloaded, it'll show what's actually on the tablet. So if you go all, that's everybody's document. So that's why there's so many there. But if you click on here, that's what's actually got to your tablet right now. And they'll probably still keep coming. But if you want to look at it, then you just tap it there. And then it'll bring it up. And then you scroll through. And then when you want to go back, then you hit this little arrow. Will take you back. And then that circle takes you back to the home screen.
So this was like from one meeting and so this was minutes.
Probably be a good tool if you want to put on there what color shirt that you should wear, because Larry and I have got that down pat here. But we should put it on here for the rest of everybody else so they can do it too.
How do we get?
Then you just like touch.
All right, any other questions at all?
Night, but tomorrow morning probably.
I'm always, well, most of the time I'm in my office, so you can stop by anytime that you have questions. If you need to talk about it, it's okay. And my number is on the document there too, so if you need to call, we can talk over the phone, all that.
Where's your phone number at?
It should be right on the front there, I believe. Any other questions? Anything?
When you
Everybody feels good?
you turn the power off when you try to charge it or not?
You don't have to.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it'll just go black by itself. This kind of times out, but you don't have to power it all the way off.
But just plugging it in will.
Just plug it in, and it'll do what it needs to do.
Cut it off on
You
here.
don't, you can, you don't have to, you can just.
Yep.
If you want to shut it off, press the button where you turned it on.
Hold the button in for a second.
It should ask you to power on. Press it again, see what happens.
to complete another survey. It's about